Hey everybody and welcome to this new video on my channel. In today's video I'm gonna present you my top 5 oud fragrances in my collection. The first oud fragrance I want to talk about is number 5 spot, and that's Maison Franais Oud Eau de Parfum. Not the oud satin mood, not the oud velvet mood, whatever, the standard oud. It's on my 5th spot because it's not heavy on oud, on the oud note, you know, so oud is definitely a supporting note, but it's a kind of woodsy, martini-ish smelling, really understatement kind of fragrance. So it's not too harsh on the sillage. The performance is easily good enough. You have about 8 to 9 hours on it, or at least I get 8 to 9 hours of performance from it. As I said, the sillage is quite settled. You won't annoy anyone. It's perfect for an office environment, in my opinion. For school, maybe for your university, however, how old you are. I think it maybe appeals more to older people. I don't care about that, and I don't care whether it's for older or for younger ones. I think it may be more appropriate for older ones. I really don't care about that, to be honest, so it's your decision. It's settled, it's a really professional smelling oud fragrance with a martini-ish kind of smell. The 4th spot I want to talk about is Mont Blanc Oud. This is the most extremely performing fragrance, one of the most protection fragrances I've got. Its sillage and projection is incredible, so you get like 5 to 6 hour projection of 2 meters or something like that. So if you go into a room, everyone will notice you. If you use an elevator, for example, and someone uses this after you, they probably know that you are there wherever you are. So it's pretty strong. It's not necessarily natural smelling. That's the reason why it's just on the number 4 spot. And it's very hard on the oud note. So you get that oud. It's a rose fragrance, so I think it's even more like a dark rose fragrance. And it's a patchouli fragrance. I think it's a beautiful mixed fragrance. It's just not the most natural smelling thing. So I would rather go to the point that it's kind of synthetic. I do not get any hairspray vibes. I often read that, honestly I don't get it. But it's a synthetic oud fragrance with a strong, really strong rose note. Be careful, and you'll get a really well performing and great, unique and distinguished smelling fragrance by Mont. My number 3 spot is from the Dior Privé line. In my last video I criticized Ambre Nuit a bit. In this video we talk about the Leather Oud, which in my opinion is with Mitza the best fragrance from the Dior Privé line. It's a beautiful leather oud civet fragrance. So you get leather, oud and civet, just like the title, adding some civet, which makes it even more animalic. You've got to know that it's an animalic smelling fragrance, in my opinion. It's the same thing, I think, for everyone. Animalic is something else. For example, Jeremy Fragrance said that fragrances like Leighton Exclusive from Simale smells animalic. I don't get that at all. So it's a different nose, different smell, you know, but I think this is quite an animalic fragrance through the civet note, which is pretty strong in the opening, in my opinion, and then it's got a really masculine and strong leather oud dry down. So it's masculine, it's strong. You get easily 10 to 12 hours performance, maybe a bit more. It projects quite well, you will get noticed, and all in all it's a beautiful kind of natural smelling fragrance for a good price, I think, compared to my spot 1 and spot 2, and it's a bit more natural than my spot 4 and a bit more on the oud side than my 5th spot. So I think it's a great spot 3. Try this one out. Dior's Leather Oud. Number 2 spot. That's Alexandria from Xerjoff. Alexandria Tube from the Oud Stars collection. I want to start with the main thing with the Xerjoff fragrance is the most expensive in my list. It costs about 300 euros for a 50 ml bottle and I think 500 for the 100 ml bottle. So if you use it quite much, we could consider buying the 100 ml. I've got just the 50 ml because it's enough for me. Being just a waste of that great juice to use it in everyday life, in my opinion. It's great. I wouldn't say that it is not versatile because it's gourmandish oud fragrance, which isn't the most often thing you meet. It's a great combination of vanilla, oud, a bit rose in the heart note. I get that's quite prominent, some floral aspects like the rose, and the dry down is just a beautiful, woodsy, oudy, gourmandish fragrance coming from the vanilla, and it's so beautiful and so well blended, and you have to try it. Maybe if you're not want to pay this price, I can totally get that, but it's so beautiful that you at least should go in a perfume store when it's open again, or order a sample of this fragrance, try it out and write me in the comments how you, or whether you appreciated it or not. I love it. I think it's beautiful made. It's craftsmanship wise fantastic. I'm not sure whether there's actual oud in there or not. I think so. It smells really natural and it's a beautiful fragrance all in all. And that is why it's on my second spot. And my first spot, kind of a newer fragrance for me, and it is Gala from Jazeel Fragrances. This is really, really, really rarely, and let's say rarely distributed. So it's not the easiest thing to get this in Germany in a perfume store, and I prefer to buy something in a perfume store just because I can smell it there and I can I love the feeling of a perfume store. That's another thing maybe for another video. I like that, so I wanted to buy that in a perfume store, and a shop assistant which is extremely well educated when it comes to fragrances. She recommended this fragrance to me when I looked after a natural smelling oud fragrance, and then she told me Gala, and it, in my opinion, a beautiful looking bottle. It feels heavy, the metal is great. You've got the beautiful box, you get a little message, and it's by I think from the United Arab Emirates, this guy who owns the brand. I can link you a video over here, I think, where he talks about his own fragrance line with Mark Gebauer, and in that video he said something, and I think I can smell that it's fragrance that just consists natural ingredients, and that's great because the main players are rose and oud in that fragrance, and both are really expensive and both are definitely in there, and you smell it and it is beautiful. I'm really excited to tell you about that one because it's such a unique and distinguished smelling fragrance. I never smelled something like that. It's a beautiful combination. It's so well done. It's a floral oud fragrance with an animalic note in the opening. I think the first hour can be a bit stinky. I have parallels to the Alcat by Xerjoff in the kind of animalic smell that you get in the opening, and then it's just transition in a quite harsh but not annoying, beautiful dry down of oud, and the beautiful rose note that is somewhere in the heart note, and even gets a bit in the dry down, and then it's getting a bit mixed with the other conclusion of note. And this is made perfectly. It's quite expensive though. You pay 360 euros, I think, for a 100 ml bottle like that. I bought it in a heavy discount, to be honest, because I did not want to pay that much for the fragrance. I say how it is. I paid like 200-ish or 250-ish euros, which still is heavily expensive, but it was like less than I paid for Alexandria 50 ml, so that's okay with me. Try it before you buy it. Definitely at this price point, I would never suggest you a blind buy, and I'm pretty sure you will be as excited as I am. Well, this is my top oud list. I tried to I tried to use a few other fragrances like on your typical top oud list. I hope it was maybe a bit refreshing for you to not hear about your typical oud fragrances. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something. Now it's your turn. What's your favorite oud fragrance? Do you like oud? I think there are loads of people who don't like it. So do you like it or not? And if you like it, what are your favorites? Write it down in the comments. Maybe I can test them and then I could do a second part. Also, I would really appreciate your comments with video ideas. What kind of video do you want to see? Maybe a top list, maybe a certain review to a fragrance which I could order as a sample. I would be really grateful for every kind of help I get from you. Thank you for watching. Bye.